Long ago, there was a prophet named Balaam. He was known for his wisdom and was sought after by many. People believed that whoever Balaam blessed was blessed indeed, and those he cursed would surely be cursed. His fame spread across the land, and even kings desired his help to secure victory or blessings. One day, the king of Moab, King Balak, sent messengers to Balaam with a tempting offer. They came bearing gold and riches, pleading with him to come and curse the people of Israel, who were encamped nearby. King Balak feared these people, believing that a curse might weaken them. Balaam was intrigued by the offer. With wealth and fame promised, it was hard not to be tempted. However, Balaam knew that this decision would need to be approved by God. He went to God in prayer, asking if he should go and curse the people. God's answer was clear: "You shall not curse these people, for they are blessed." Although disappointed, Balaam knew he should honor God's words, and he turned down the king's offer. But Balak was persistent, sending more prominent officials and offering even greater riches if Balaam would just come and place a curse. This time, Balaam's heart wavered. The wealth was too tempting, and he returned to ask God once more. God allowed Balaam to go, but instructed him to speak only what he commanded. Balaam set out on his journey, riding his donkey along a winding path, but as he traveled, an angel with a drawn sword stood in his way. Balaam couldn't see the angel, but his donkey could. The donkey veered off the path to avoid the angel, but Balaam, frustrated, struck the animal, urging it back on track. The angel appeared again, blocking the way, and the donkey stopped. Yet again, Balaam struck his donkey. A third time, the angel appeared, and now the donkey lay down beneath Balaam, refusing to move. Finally, God opened the mouth of the donkey, and it spoke. "Why have you beaten me these 3 times?" Balaam, in his frustration, replied, not realizing the miracle before him. But then God opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel standing in his way, ready to strike. Balaam bowed in fear, realizing his blindness and stubbornness. The angel spoke, reminding Balaam that this journey was not just about Balaam's desires, but about listening to God's guidance and choosing integrity over personal gain. Humbled, Balaam understood that his path forward was not one to be forced, but one to be led by the right purpose and truth. When he finally reached King Balak, Balaam stood firm and spoke only the blessings God commanded him to. He refused to curse the people, despite the king's urging. Balaam's words were not swayed by riches or power, but remained rooted in the truth he had come to understand. This choice blessed both Balaam and those around him, becoming a testament to the power of honoring one's inner convictions over external pressures. This story teaches us that while life may offer us tempting rewards and shortcuts, true success and fulfillment lie in aligning our actions with integrity and purpose. Like Balaam, we may face obstacles or difficult choices, but these challenges serve as reminders to stay true to our values. When we pause, listen, and reflect, we often find that the right path, though harder to follow, leads to a more meaningful life. In moments of doubt, remember the story of Balaam. Even when others pressure us to act against our beliefs, we can choose a path of truth and faith, one step at a time, knowing that a clear conscience is worth more than any treasure. In life, we often find ourselves at crossroads, faced with decisions that test our values. Just as Balaam was tempted by riches and fame, we too encounter situations where short-term gains or pressures from others seem to lure us off course. Balaam's story reminds us of the importance of listening to our inner voice, even when it's challenging. When we feel pressured to make a choice that conflicts with our beliefs or values, it's essential to pause, reflect, and consider the long-term impact of our actions. Sometimes we may encounter angels, moments of insight or sudden clarity that help us recognize the right path. These moments encourage us to remain true to our convictions, choosing integrity over fleeting rewards. Balaam's journey also teaches us that no matter how much we stray or get distracted by outside influence, there's always an opportunity to realign with our purpose. By staying mindful and rooted in what we know to be true, we not only find personal fulfillment, but also set an example for others. In moments of doubt, let Balaam's story inspire you. Remember that the right path may not always be the easiest, but it is the one that brings the deepest satisfaction and peace. Like Balaam, may we all strive to listen, reflect, and choose integrity over external pressures, knowing that a clear conscience and a true heart are worth more than any reward. Temptation of external rewards. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which, while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. 1 Timothy 6:10. Balaam's initial temptation reveals how the lure of wealth and power can subtly pull us away from our faith. This verse warns us that loving money and worldly gain can lead us to compromise our values, bringing sorrow and regret. Balaam's story exemplifies this truth, reminding us that true peace lies not in earthly rewards, but in aligning ourselves with God's will and priorities. Seeking divine guidance. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Proverbs 3:5-6. Balaam's decision to seek God's guidance, despite the temptations before him, demonstrates the importance of turning to God in our decision-making. This verse encourages us to fully trust God rather than relying solely on our own perspectives. By consulting God, Balaam reminds us that the wisest choice is to seek divine wisdom and guidance in all our choices, for God alone sees what we cannot and leads us in the right path. Persistence of temptation. Watch and pray, that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Matthew 26:41. Balak's repeated offers to Balaam illustrate how temptation often persists, testing our strength. This verse from Matthew acknowledges that while we may desire to resist temptation, our human nature can make us susceptible. Balaam's story serves as a reminder to remain vigilant in prayer, for when our resolve weakens, prayer gives us the strength to stay grounded, resisting offers that threaten to compromise our values. Consequences of ignoring inner warnings. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Proverbs 14:12. Balaam's frustration with his donkey and blindness to the angel's presence symbolize the danger of pursuing a path that feels right but leads to harm. This verse underscores the importance of heeding God's guidance instead of following our own desires, as appearances can be deceptive. When we ignore inner warnings or God's directions, we risk walking a path that leads to spiritual and personal trouble. Self-reflection and realization. Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith, prove your own selves. 2 Corinthians 13:5. Balaam's encounter with the angel and the speaking donkey is a moment of humility and awakening, urging him to reflect on his motives. This verse invites us to regularly examine our hearts and intentions, recognizing areas where we may have strayed. Self-reflection allows us to recalibrate, making sure our actions are guided by faith and purpose, rather than personal ambition. Choosing integrity over pressure. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:10. Balaam's choice to stand firm in God's instructions, despite King Balak's urging, demonstrates the courage needed to maintain integrity. This verse from Matthew reminds us that those who endure difficulty for staying true to righteousness are blessed, as God values integrity over worldly approval. Balaam's stand highlights that, while we may face opposition or disappointment, honoring our faith brings greater reward and blessing. Moral lesson: aligning actions with values. He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. Micah 6:8. The overarching lesson in Balaam's story encourages us to live by integrity, seeking justice, mercy, and humility. This verse captures what God desires from us: to act with moral courage, to treat others with compassion, and to live in humility before Him. Balaam's journey reveals that while life presents us with enticing options, true success and peace come from aligning our actions with God's expectations, choosing paths that honor our deepest values over fleeting rewards.